Hello and welcome to Too Many Movies, the podcast where we discuss DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional VHS tape. I'm your host, Hal, and today I got another special guest. Chaotic, introduce yourself.
Hello. I usually go by Chaotique or Chaotique Productions. I make videos when I actually feel like it, but in terms of, main hobbies, I usually draw stuff, play video games, and what I'm here for, watching and discussing movies, and sometimes shows.
Gross. You watch movies?
Yeah, I to this day, I don't know why.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I hate movies. Speaking of movies I hate, let's talk about DC League of Super Pets. A movie that you really wanted to talk about because you like clowning on it.
Yeah.
Why?
I watched League of Super Pets in the theater, and I think before I did watch in the theater, I memed on it because of the FedEx joke in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did watch in the theaters, I will admit, it is not a very good movie at all. That being said, 5 stars, best Morbillion I've ever spent.
Yeah. So, I want to start off with saying that I really don't like the title. I think it's a very dumb title. Just the inclusion of DC just kind of makes it stupid. Like, if it was literally just League of Super Pets, it would still be stupid because it's a stupid concept. But, like, I don't know, just the inclusion of DC for, like, I don't know, idiots who don't know that the Justice League is in there and they are part of DC. It's just, I get it. It's a baby movie made for babies, but, like, I don't know, show a little more understanding, respect for intelligence,
I think, like, the only DC movies that have been actively titled with DC in their very title are the DC Showcase shorts, and even then, they're a series of showcase shorts, not mainstream feature movies.
Yeah, so it's very strange, but whatever, it's the title, who gives a shit? Like, how about the movie itself? It's bad. It's very bad. So this is a movie that clearly is aimed for a younger audience, clearly made for children, for babies, for people who like seeing Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart in the same movie. But it's also a kind of movie that I just don't like seeing a lot, where it's clearly made for a younger audience, but it also has references and allusions to, like, things that only, like, adults would know, especially, like, comic book adults and nerds like that. And it's just like, I don't like when movies do that.
Yeah.
And I understand why they do it, but I still don't like it.
Yeah. Like, I am a big DC fan myself, so I guess I can say for the references, they didn't bother me too much. Some I do kind of like, but at the end of the day, like, it's like what you said, it's a kid's movie. Like, I can understand trying to appease DC fans, but, sometimes you should just try being a good movie first.
Yeah, and I'm not expecting, like, Shawshank Redemption from a movie about animals that get superpowers, but I don't know, like, I just don't like when a movie feels like it needs to fall back on reference humor and just making the lowest hanging fruit jokes imaginable. And again, I get it. It's a baby movie. Like, kids aren't really going to care. But then why make references that adults would understand? It's like, it's almost like it's trying to appease that demographic as well. Yeah. And I don't know, like, if you're going to make it just for kids, then do that. Make it just for kids. Like, it's why I never understood why something like Teen Titans Go to the Movies does shit like that, or Chip and Dale,
yeah.
or like all these movies that are clearly aimed for like a younger audience. And I get that. I still don't like those movies, but I understand why I don't like those movies. Like, if they didn't make those references, I wouldn't like those movies because they're childish. But it's like, all right, I understand. Like, clearly I'm not supposed to enjoy this. But those movies are worse because they try to make these references that I would understand. So it's like, all right, you're trying to appease me as a moviegoer. In which case, make the movie better then, you know? Like, don't make it childish.
I mean, I guess a little bit I would consider this movie kind of better than Teen Titans Go to the Movies, just maybe, but even then, that's probably because it isn't connected to the cesspool that is Teen Titans Go, but this is its own mess, so...
I couldn't tell you which is worse. I honestly couldn't, but, I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
They're just both I just did not enjoy. Occasionally, both had jokes I chuckled at, but, like, overall, I can't say they're great. So
I think most of the stuff I did laugh at with League of Super Pets was ironically, like the FedEx joke. I will still admit that is peak cinema, but I think that most of the jokes in League of Super Pets are very drowned out. Like, yeah, again, it's a baby movie, but it's just kind of frustrating since you have potentially fine jokes, and then they just try giving them a longer punchline, and it doesn't work.
yeah, and I feel like another thing that it kind of falls flat on its face on is when it tries to have serious moments and emotional moments, and it's like I kind of see what it's going for. It's trying to be the Lego Movie, where it's a stupid commercial for this line of products, but it has heart to it, and it actually earns these emotional moments. But the thing of that is, the Lego Movie is a great movie all on its own, and it has that Lord and Miller signature sense of humor to it. Yeah. So, like, that works really well.
I can't really name anything really that signature for League of Super Pets at all.
Exactly. It's trying to copy a signature. Like, it's trying to be a Lord and Miller animated movie where it's like trying to have that, like, not really edgy, but like kind of like wink wink towards the audience sense of humor, but like also genuinely having funny jokes. Yeah. But it can't do that because it's a corporate product. Like, this is a movie made by Warner Brothers. This is not a movie made by someone with a vision.
I just think that, you know, the most blatant, biggest difference between the two is that League of Super Pets just is not clever at all.
No. You know what it is? It's these jokes that I feel like I've seen already. Like, one thing I noticed was, like, whenever it would make a reference to other superheroes, like, there's that scene when Superman irons his shirt and he's like, oh, they should call me Iron Man. And, like, there's a scene where the Kevin Hart dog is just like, oh, I wish I had a magic hammer or something like that. And I'm like, oh, haha, very funny. It's like, maybe 10 years ago, I would have found that clever. I would have been like, oh, they're making a reference to other company. But it's like, we've seen this before already. Like, we've seen this in other movies. Like, Teen Titans Go had a Stan Lee cameo. Like, they got to it first. Like, this isn't clever anymore. It's just par for the course.
And if I do remember correctly, if we do want to go the other way around, Eternals did have references to, you know, DC properties, actually, like Superman.
Did it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Did it?
I mean, I wouldn't blame you for not remembering because it's Eternals.
You know what? I don't remember a lot of Eternals. I remember the PG-13 sex scene and... No, that's it. That's all I remember.
I don't blame you.
I mean, if we're going the other way, like I know the only Marvel product I can think of that references a DC product is Deadpool saying like, "Oh, this old lady I live with, she's my Robin to me as Batman."
Yeah, and that's just funny, not so funny Ryan Reynolds shenanigans. So
Yeah, actually, in No Way Home, did Aunt May say to Spider-Man? Did she say to Peter Parker, say like, "You're not Superman"? Like, is that maybe what we're thinking of?
I'm not in. I do actively remember that there's like a Superman line in Eternals, but No Way Home I'm not so sure. Then again, it's been a while since I've seen both.
Right. And you know what? Out of the two, I would rather rewatch No Way Home to find out. So
Same.
there you go.
Yep.
I will say this movie, League of Super Pets, has kind of a weirdly stacked cast. I mean, I get it. You could just hire whatever celebrities because you have your DC/Warner Brothers money, and
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson is attached. So you're just like, oh, we get to be in a movie with Dwayne Johnson. But it's like all of these actors are just here. Like Alfred Molina and Keith David are in this movie,
Yeah.
which is kind of surprising to me.
I think what's even more surprising is that, I guess again to show off more DC knowledge, Alfred Molina and Keith David have both been involved with DC properties before, and they were miles better in those than they were in League of Super Pets.
I mean, I can imagine they're great actors all on their own. And then you get like, I mean, so I'm just going to say it. I'm not the biggest Dwayne Johnson fan. I can't say I actively hate him. I just haven't really been impressed. If anything, I think he's funny. Like, I think his very existence is hilarious. Like,
Yeah, I have
he's
to
not
agree there.
intentionally funny, but just the fact that he thinks he's so cool, that makes him really funny to watch in movies.
You want to know what's the funniest thing he's ever done for DC? It's him unironically saying for Black Adam, the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change.
Exactly. Like that's our fault as audiences, just kind of building up Dwayne Johnson as this big film star that he's become. Like, he's an enormous, well, he's a big guy for you, but like he's also just an enormous movie star. Like, everybody knows who Dwayne Johnson is. Everybody knows like what movies he's been in. Nobody wants to admit that the majority of movies he's been in are bad, but
Yeah.
he's such a spectacle of an actor that like people will go see him in any movies anyway. Like, people will watch Red Notice even though it sucks, but he's in it.
Yeah, I have not watched Red Notice. I'm probably going to keep it
Good,
that
don't.
way.
I mean, it's one of the better bad movies from 2021, but it's not good.
I think the funny thing with Dwayne Johnson and League of Super Pets is the first Dwayne Johnson movie I have seen was the Jumanji, like the 27 Jumanji movie, I believe. And oh look, it starred both Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, so Kevin Hart, I'm not really sure how I feel about Kevin Hart. He can be funny. I can't say he's my favorite comedian, and I can't really say he's been in a lot of great movies. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of him, especially after like the Oscars controversy that happened a couple of years ago, where like he backed out of it for homophobic things from like the past. But it's like,
wow.
I mean, at the end of the day, I just have no real strong opinion towards Kevin Hart. But like, I understand why he's cast in this movie, because people like the Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart debauchery, if you will, that they bring. Because it's the same reason why people really liked seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito together in movies like years ago. Because like, you have this really big guy and you have this really little guy, and you just go off of whatever banter they say to each other, and that sells a movie, I guess.
I guess for my overall opinions on Kevin Hart, like as an actor, I actually don't hate him. Like, again, he's not my favorite, but surprisingly, he's not that annoying, which, for most actors now, which a lot of which have annoyed me, I was not expecting that, but yeah, I actually kind of like his performance a lot of the time.
Yeah, I can't really say anybody gave a necessarily bad performance in DC League of Super Pets. It's just nobody really stood out.
I mean,
like they were just there.
I mean, if there's something that I will give the movie something a better Keanu Reeves performance than Matrix Resurrections.
Well, yeah, that's par for the course. So let's talk about Keanu as Batman. A lot of people seem to like it. I don't know if I like it. I really don't like Batman's character design in this, so maybe that's what's distracting me. Like, if it was and I get it, it's cartoony, I get it, but I feel like there are other better character designs. Like the Superman character design, I'm not that opposed to. Like, I think, I mean, Superman is a hard character to do wrong in the design department. I mean, some people would argue Man of Steel,
Yeah.
I will give Man of Steel this, though. It's not I guess technically it could be the worst Superman design, but, like, I at least understand that it's Superman.
I mean, in terms of, I guess to go, in terms of overall Superman designs, Man of Steel actually isn't that bad compared to a lot of the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I mean, and this is just me, I do like the Superman design because it has the black in the logo, and as a massive Max Fleischer Superman cartoon fan, I like seeing that. I was just like, ooh, I like seeing this.
I still need to see all the Fleischer shorts, but the ones I have seen are really good, and, obviously miles better than League of Super Pets.
Yeah, I'm just a fan of those because I grew up with them. Like, I watched them as a kid, and I just thought they were really cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Keanu Reeves as Batman. I don't know if I like his performance. I know I don't like his character design, but in terms of performance, and here's the thing with Keanu. He's not a great actor, but sometimes he can still be charismatic enough that you don't care.
Yeah.
Something like The Matrix, he works in the first Matrix. Like, I can tolerate him. Not so much in the sequels, and especially not in Resurrections. Oh boy, was he bad in Resurrections.
Yeah,
but
acting-wise, I'm not a big fan of Keanu as a whole.
Yeah, I don't, and here's the thing, I don't hate Keanu either. Like, I don't think he's a good actor, but he can be charismatic enough that I won't say I hate him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I understand why he was hired as Batman, because they're just like, oh, he has this dark voice, and we'll just give it to Batman. It's like, ooh, I'm Batman. I'm also Neo from The Matrix. It's like, oh, it's funny. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Tamatoa is Aquaman.
Yeah. And
Isn't
also,
that cool?
And also Ben.
Do you think that was intentional? Do you think they intentionally hired Jermaine Clement because he was a water character in another movie? They hired him as Aquaman?
I have no idea, but what I do also know is that Ben Schwartz is in this movie. Playing... playing a guinea pig.
He plays a guinea pig. He doesn't play a guinea pig that moves fast. And I'm like, I would have done that. If I was in charge of who I would hire as like a cameo, I'd hire Ben Schwartz as the guinea pig that goes fast. I would have done that.
Yeah.
But
personally, I'm just hoping that's like set up for like maybe they do a Crisis on Infinite Earths movie, and then it's actually a crossover with Sonic where Robotnik is the main villain, because like he said in Sonic 2, he'll take over the world and the universe and the multiverse, and who knows, maybe then that'll be enough.
Yeah. That's right. Sonic 2 came out this year. I completely forgot.
The better 5-star movie.
You know what? I will say that. So, yeah, there's really not much I have to say other than I didn't really get that much out of it. It was just a dumb kids movie. Yeah. And I tried seeing it from your perspective with the whole like, oh, we can meme it, but
Yeah.
I feel like there are better movies from this year that I could meme on. Like there are better ironically bad movies in this year. You know what I'm saying?
I do agree. Like, League of Super Pets we still meme, but let's be fair, it ain't no Morbius.
No, and here's the thing. I've said this since Morbius came out. I'm still saying this. Morbius isn't even the worst movie I've seen this year. Like, as much as I clowned on it, there are worse movies than Morbius, and I actually have fun with Morbius. Yeah, I bought it on 4K Blu-ray. I paid to see Morbius twice.
Yeah.
Because I paid it in theaters. I paid for the Blu-ray. I love Morbius.
Yeah, I really do want to get the Morbius Blu-ray for Christmas this year because it's Morbius. It's Morbin time, and like...
It's Morbin time.
And I can name multiple movies that came out this year that I hate more. In fact, 2 movies that came out this year, Chip and Dale, and more controversially, Doctor Strange 2, are in my bottom 5.
Yeah, Chip and Dale is definitely worse than League of Super Pets. I will admit to that.
Absolutely.
But that's because it's Chip and Dale. That is easily... It's gone down, and I didn't like it the first time I watched it. It's gotten worse the more I've thought about it.
Yeah.
What a terrible, terrible movie.
Yeah, and the only reason why I haven't thought that much about Rescue Rangers is that when it came out, there was a lot of hype surrounding it, and now, in the era of August and September, literally every flaw that movie had. You know, there's probably still stuff that could be said, but it's now been torn apart. I think people still see it for the shit stain it was.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of people have talked about it in recent months, and for good measure, for good reason too. It's really nothing to talk about. It was bad when it first came out. It's bad now. I really hope people who gave it positive ratings realize the error of their ways. But, whatever. People can have opinions. It's fine.
Yep. But, I can understand not getting much out of League of Super Pets. And apparently I think it's been bombing. And
oh, no.
Yeah, and to be honest, if that's the case, don't color me surprised, because a movie like League of Super Pets, do you really expect that to really succeed?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I knew of Crypto the Superdog before this movie was because there was a cartoon about it from the early 2000s. Funny thing about that, I have a story. So apparently I had a friend back in school who just associated me with that cartoon because he has a memory of one day being on the school bus and asking me what my favorite cartoon is. And he swears I said Crypto the Superdog, even though that would have never even entered my top 10 favorite cartoons. Like, I have no memory of ever saying that.
Yeah, well, obviously it would be in your top 1.
It would be in my top 1, of course. Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to say about League of Super Pets?
I like the design for Mercy Graves. Lex Luthor's e-girl assistant. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Is she in, like, the comics? She wasn't, like, a BVS original?
She originated from Superman the Animated Series and made her way into the comics and other stuff.
Okay, so it's like a Harley Quinn situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, that's cool. So now's the part where, now that we've discussed this movie, mostly me, but you can join in too, I decide whether I want to add it to my movie collection. I do not. This is not a movie I want to ever watch again. In fact, it's not something I enjoyed watching. It's not something I will ever enjoy watching again. It's a no. It's not It's a no.
Yeah.
It's a no for me, dog. It's not joining my collection.
Yeah, and for me, in spite of all of my memeing, I probably won't add it to my collection either. Firstly, because it's part of the Warner Brothers HBO Max conglomerate, and, putting aside how awfully they've treated their properties as of late, it's probably going to be on HBO Max soon, and even putting HBO Max aside, there's other movies I'd rather own on Blu-ray, like Morbius, Sonic 2, and especially Bullet Train, my actual favorite movie of the year, and in my top 5 of all time now.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, see, better movies to add to your collection. Absolutely.
Go watch Bullet Train, everyone. Goated movie.
I'll get to it someday, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, let's talk about a different movie. So I have here a DVD called Scooby-Doo Meets Batman. And this is not technically a movie. It's 2 episodes of a Scooby-Doo show where they cross over with Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
We both watched these 2 episodes. I watched it on this DVD. You watched it. How did you watch it?
Let's say I did a little bit of the sailing of the high seas.
Yep, that's yeah. Yar har fiddly dee. Being a pirate is all right with me. But okay, yeah, no, I figured you would, because I can't imagine everybody has a copy of Scooby-Doo Meets Batman at the ready.
Yeah.
But I just think it's really funny that Warner Brothers made a DVD of these 2 specific episodes, just to be like, oh, Scooby-Doo meets Batman. It's like, huh, that is an exciting team up, isn't it?
Yeah. Funnily enough, it wouldn't be the last time Scooby-Doo and Batman have crossed over. Funnily enough, the next crossover was in 2018, where they crossed over with Batman the Brave and the Bold cartoon, which was mostly based off of the Golden Age and Silver Age comics.
Yeah, I've seen that. Really? Yeah. 2018 was when they crossed over?
Yeah, 2018.
That's weird, because Batman Brave and the Bold wasn't around at that point.
Actually, Batman Brave and the Bold ended way before that movie was made.
You know what? That's funny, because then in 2021, Scooby-Doo crossed over with Courage the Cowardly Dog, another show that ended years ago. So it's like, why is Warner Brothers waiting until now to do this stuff?
So, does that mean in a couple years we're probably going to get that Scooby-Doo Game of Thrones crossover?
No, I want Scooby-Doo meets Chowder. No, Scooby-Doo meets Codename Kids Next Door. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what did you think of Scooby-Doo meets Batman, or these 2 episodes of this goated crossover, as it were?
Well, I think that they're actually really fun, pretty good episodes, and between the 2 Batman Scooby-Doo crossovers I've seen, I actually prefer these 2 episodes over the Brave and the Bold movie a bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like the Brave and the Bold movie definitely has much more of a plot to it, but the 2 episodes are basically 60s and 70s Scooby-Doo shenanigans, and I can never pass up on that.
Yeah, I remember being a kid and watching older Scooby-Doo episodes, a bunch of specific ones because I had them on DVD. It's been a while since I've seen those Scooby-Doo episodes.
Yeah.
I was never like a huge diehard Scooby-Doo fan, but I never passed up watching the cartoon. Like if I was watching TV and Scooby-Doo was on, I'd be like, yeah, I'll watch Scooby-Doo. That's fine.
Yeah, same case for me.
Yeah. And then in terms of Batman, so this Batman and Robin specifically are supposed to be like the Batman and Robin from like the Justice League animated show from like the 70s.
Yeah.
And like that time period, which, funnily enough, I have seen some episodes of.
I don't think I really have seen many episodes, but I think it's like Super Friends or something like that, and I am mildly familiar with that era. Specifically, it's the one that did create the Legion of Doom.
Yes. So, Super Friends, I used to own a VHS tape from way back in the day. Yeah. It was like, I don't know what it was called, but it was called like the Super Friends, and it had like 4 episodes of the show on there. And that was like it's funny that like I grew up in the early 2000s, but like my exposure to these characters are from like old nostalgic shows, because like I said earlier, I watched the Max Fleischer Superman cartoons, but like those are from the 40s. And the Super Friends show, which is from the 70s, but I didn't grow up with like I sort of did. I sort of did grow up with Justice League Unlimited and stuff like that from the early 2000s.
I actually have grown up with Justice League, and I am planning to revisit that. I am planning to revisit those shows soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have fond memories of both Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah, so it is interesting. So I have experience with both this Batman and Robin and this Scooby-Doo gang. Yeah. But even with that, like, just watching it was really charming. Like, it's incredibly dated in that it's animated terribly, and the sound editing is bad. And every once in a while there's a laugh track, even though it's a cartoon, which I never got, but I mean, whatever. It was kind of funny, just how they were trying to make it funny.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about the 2 episodes specifically.
Sure, yeah. You can. Why don't we talk about the one that you saw first?
Yeah.
Because it's funny. I remember saying in the Discord, like, "Oh, I'm watching Batman meets Scooby-Doo," and you're like, "Me too." And you're like, "Oh, do you like the part when they talked about the flying suit?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, you were watching the counterfeit segment. And so basically how it was is that we both did watch the 2 same episodes, but with the pirating site I had, they played the flight suit episode first and then the counterfeit episode. And then with your DVD, they played the counterfeit episode first and then the flight suit one.
Yeah, so I don't know which one came first. It says that both these episodes are from 1972, so I don't think it really matters, but that was interesting. And it's not like they both have anything to do with one another. Like, you can't really tell which one came first. You can't really tell, like, which one the gang have never met Batman and Robin and which one they already had a previous adventure with them.
I mean, I think with the flight suit one, it's definitely implied that they have more experience with these characters, while in the counterfeit one, there's like a little bit more surprise to it.
I guess. I mean, either way, like, I don't think it really mattered, just because, like, they were just talking where they're just like, it's Batman and Robin. It's the Scooby-Doo gang. It's just like, these two characters, 2 sets of characters could not be more separate from one another. It's really funny.
Yeah, most of the time throughout the flight suit one, Batman and Robin just sit in their goddamn helicopter.
Exactly, yeah. It's just like, and it's really goofy. And I like that. I like goofy cartoons, and this is especially goofy. Just because it's still in that era when Batman is known for, like, the Adam West goofiness. So, like, of course, Batman's going to be a little more on the goofy side. And I'm okay with that because it does lead to some really funny segments.
I have mainly grown up with the more serious Batman. So whenever I do see the more, cheesy Batman, it's definitely a weird experience for me, but it is a welcome one. And, With the flight suit episode, it literally opens up with Scooby and Shaggy calling a deer just a horse with horns. How can I not laugh?
It's so funny. This is the flight suit episode. There's that scene where they, like, go to the rubber factory and they have all the Warner Brothers balloons. And they have, well, it's funny because they have Batman and Robin, they have Yogi Bear and Fred Flintstone, and Santa Claus.
Yeah, and they literally name drop them.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, look, it's Fred Flintstone and Yogi Bear, each sold separately.
Space Jam 2 before Space Jam 2, except even better.
Even better than Space Jam 2, exactly. It's just, and it's really funny because I think the Batman and Robin balloons are literally just the same character models as the actual characters, just bigger.
Yeah.
It's literally, they're literally that lazy. I mean, it's Hanna-Barbera. Like, they were animating on, like, shoestring budget, so of course.
The flight suit episode was also the episode where Joker and Penguin became forklift certified.
That was epic. I always love seeing characters drive forklifts in movies, because I was forklift certified for a little bit.
It kind of reminds me of that one episode of Family Guy where Peter just uses a forklift for like the entire first 10 minutes.
Yeah. I don't remember which episode that is, but I do remember vaguely him doing that.
Yeah, there was like a Lion King gag where he raises Simba with the forklift.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think I do remember that. I don't remember which of the episodes it was, but there was one episode where Joker said Penguin's lines. So it's like Joker says something, and then his mouth keeps moving, but then the Penguin's voice comes out, and then Joker responds to what the Penguin said, but it's implied that he said it. So it's just like, like, how do you screw that up? Like that, like, it was amazing seeing that for real. Because like usually when you see that, like, people point it out first, but like I saw that with my own eyes, and I was just like, oh my god, like, really?
Wow.
It was so funny. And I don't remember. I think it was the what was it? The counterfeit episode where Joker and Penguin get caught, and he's trying to climb out of his trap, and Batman goes, "Wow, the Clown Prince of Crime is now the Crown Prince of Climb." And I was like, holy shit, that's really good wordplay. Like, somebody must have been so proud of themselves when they said that.
Yeah.
Like, when they wrote that in the writer's room.
It was also the same episode where Joker literally called Penguin Pengy Wangy, so...
yeah, Pengy Wangy.
Yeah.
Also, so I just really like that line. I like the Joker and how weird his voice is. Like, he sounds like Humphrey Bogart, or he sounds like an old 30s villain where he's just like, we're gonna totally get the joke on them. Like, it's just like, what a weird Joker voice. Like, no other Joker sounds like that.
It's literally a Joker with a Boston accent.
I guess.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I grew up in Boston. I know Boston accents. I don't know if I would say that's a Boston accent.
Yeah, because, when I think about it more, like, I don't know, you know how, like, Peter Griffin voice kind of sounds like pitched down? You know how
Okay, so you're thinking through Peter Griffin. Yeah, that's your experience with Boston accents. No, I get that. That would be most people's exposure to Boston accents would be Peter Griffin, so I get that. Well, that and JFK from Clone High, like, those are the two representations of Boston accents in media, which I'm okay with that. Those are funny characters. I'm okay with that.
And hey, that does make sense because I did like Penguin's funny words in these episodes. So
I did notice Penguin. Yeah, he definitely did a lot of alliteration in his dialogue, and because I was thinking, like, oh, I guess that. Why would he speak in alliteration? Like, is that just kind of his shtick? Because, like, I know the Riddler speaks in riddles, and the Joker is just crazy. But, like, I guess does the Penguin, like, have anything that, like, a way he speaks? But I mean, I guess with the alliteration,
most of the times it's literally just.
Well, yeah. I'm thinking of, like, the Danny DeVito Penguin. But I guess, and then I'm thinking of the Burgess Meredith penguin from the Adam West Batman, where he's just like, rah, 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 rah.
Yeah, the most I'm familiar with Penguin is the 2004 Batman cartoon where he was voiced by Tom Kenny.
Interesting.
And he appeared a lot, and he is probably one of my favorite characters in the show.
Interesting. I need to see that. I mean, the other penguin I can think of is Colin Farrell's from the new Batman movie, but like he sounds more like New Jersey and New York, where he's just like, "Hey, take it easy, sweetheart." It's like that I can hear.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
Counterfeit episode. Best bike chase scene in all of cinema.
It's true.
The unicycle animation is so fucking funny to me. I don't know.
We'll never catch the villain. He's riding a unicycle. It's like, okay. which was really funny because, like, spoiler alert for the counterfeit episode of Scooby-Doo meets Batman, the villain is Mrs. Baker. The sweet old lady they meet at the beginning. And I don't know if it was supposed to be a twist, because it was incredibly obvious when you see the hooded villain and it's the same purple cape that she was wearing. It's like, oh, then it's Mrs. Baker. Yeah. Because, like, I mean, they have the characters be like, oh, poor Mrs. Baker, like, she was the victim in all of this. And then it's like, it was me. It's just like, oh, what a twist.
What a twist. And the funniest, honestly, the best part about this twist is that her whole shtick, her whole plan was that she literally has a house which she flips upside down to disguise herself. And her whole plan was giving Joker and Penguin counterfeit money.
You know what? Yeah, I just remembered the house that goes underground. Who made that? Like, how do you construct that? First of all, how do you construct it where you can just, like, push a branch down and that moves a whole ass house underground?
Yeah.
And also, what good does that do? Like, isn't your house in the middle of nowhere? Like, why go through all that trouble?
It did bring us, every time Robin says nail, I just laugh. Actually, most of the stuff Robin says in these episodes, I laugh at.
I know. Oh, God. Yeah, Robin, he just says the funniest things.
Yeah.
I can't even think of anything that he said. I'm thinking, I remember Holy Toledo, but I think that was from, like, the Schumacher movies.
I don't think it's like any specific quotes, but just his performance.
Yeah. Holy rusted metal, Batman. This metal, it's rusted and holy. That's also from the Schumacher movies, but...
Gee, Batman, I wish you could see the world through Jesus' way. He would strangle the life out of that lawless lizard with his cold hands.
Trying to think, is there anything else you wanted to say about Scooby-Doo meets Batman? I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's literally just an episode of the 70s Scooby-Doo show where they meet Batman and Robin, and it's as corny and campy as can be.
In the Flight episode, there's literally a character named Professor Flaky.
He did get on my nerves after a while. I understood the joke was that he would, like, mix words up. He's like, oh, the thing is upstairs. I mean upstairs. It's like,
I mean, Poker and Jangwin did give me a chuckle, but...
Poker and Jangwin was very funny, yes.
Yeah.
But after a while, you're just like, all right, you have a medical condition, dude. Like, you need to stop talking. Did you have anything else to say?
No, not much. They were very fun episodes, and probably could watch again.
Yeah, I think this was a very quaint DVD. I honestly wouldn't mind keeping this in my collection, honestly. Like, I mean, something like this, you don't see very often anymore. You don't see a lot of just Blu-rays, DVDs made of just, like, specific episodes of a show. I remember back in the day, like you would get specific VHS tapes of episodes of show. Like I have a Ren and Stimpy VHS tape that has like 2 episodes of the show, and that's it. And I've seen like The Simpsons used to do that. They used to have just like random episodes on like a VHS tape or a DVD even.
Yeah, there's not many shows I own physically myself. I think the only one I bought was the entirety of the 2000s Legion of Superheroes cartoon, which is like a younger Superman teaming up with a future superhero team in the 31st century. And I watched all two seasons, and I actually think it's a pretty decent show. Not the best, but definitely worth a watch. It's really interesting.
That's cool. I own a couple of shows in their entirety too, but it's stuff like Seinfeld, Futurama, Monty Python, The Twilight Zone, which I gotta watch through The Twilight Zone. I have like this big DVD case of all the episodes, and I have yet to watch through it.
I watched a few episodes of The Twilight Zone, and from what I've seen, it's good. And one episode that will always stick with me is there's an episode about a man sitting on the plane, and someone is hijacking one of the wings, I think. And I'm always like, that's the episode that was referenced in Madagascar 2.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's one of the most famous ones. That's the one with William Shatner, and he looks outside and he sees like a gremlin on the wing, and he like tries to convince people, and they don't believe him. I haven't seen it, but I have seen the Simpsons episode, the Treehouse of Horror, that parodies it, where Bart sees a gremlin on the side of the school bus.
I still need to watch more Simpsons, like Treehouse of Horror, because...
if you get a chance, this Halloween, watch all the Treehouse of Horrors. Well, not true. Watch all the Treehouse of Horrors from, like, seasons 1 to 9, I would say. I would say seasons 1 through 8 are the golden era of The Simpsons, but Treehouse of Horror, I don't mind the season 9 Treehouse of Horror. It's pretty funny. I think you get it.
The only Treehouse of Horror that I've heard was truly bad was the 22nd one. I just heard that one was completely awful.
I mean, I couldn't tell you which of the modern ones are awful. They all just blend together in my mind. Like just because I've never watched them, and I don't want to watch them because I don't care for modern Simpsons.
Neither do I. It's just sad at this point. Completely sad. And yet still somehow some of the better modern show content that Disney owns.
That's true.
I'll take all of modern Simpsons over She-Hulk twerking. I'll just leave it there.
You know what? Fair enough. I probably would too. But yeah, no, definitely, since Halloween's around the corner, definitely check out a lot of the early Treehouse of Horrors. Like, they're really, really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I would definitely keep this Scooby-Doo Meets Batman DVD. It's an interesting DVD. It's like my Cartoon Crazies DVD. That was like the first thing I did an episode on, and I ended up keeping it just because of how wacky and weird it is. I'm keeping this for the same reason. It's a weird DVD. I think it's really cool. I could see myself watching these episodes again, so it's staying. Good news, everybody. It's staying.
Nice.
All right. I'd say that about does it for both the movies we've talked about. Chaotic, plug your stuff. Plug what you want to plug. Shout out whatever you want.
I have a YouTube channel where I post memes, sometimes make YouTube poops, and I'm still hoping to do more video stuff. I do have a Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo video plan. I have the script finished, but I have not started editing. And there's plenty of other videos I do plan on doing. I have a Twitter where I just use that to promote my stuff. And I have a Letterboxd, backlogged and serialized, where I review movies, video games, and shows respectively. And that's about it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be sure to link all of those in the description below.
Yep.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for tuning in to hear us rant about DC characters and Scooby-Doo and also The Simpsons we talked about a little bit. How about that? You know what? If I could talk about The Simpsons in every one of these episodes, I would. Just because I got Simpsons knowledge like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, and I got DC knowledge like some wouldn't believe, so...
There you go. Alright, thank you all, but now it's time to say goodbye, so I'll see you all next time, whenever that may be. Just